Other important health news this evening. Officials confirmed the first Zika-related case of microcephaly in Florida. That case was travel-related. Officials say the mother is a citizen of Haiti who came to Florida to give birth. As of today, there are now 227 Zika cases in the Sunshine State. 40 of those include pregnant women. Joining us now is Dr. Daniel Van Durme, the Director Center on Global Health at the FSU College of Medicine. Dr. Van Durme, can you tell me first what your thoughts were when you heard about this child born with microcephaly here in Florida?
Certainly. Quite frankly, my initial response was I was surprised it took as long as it did. We certainly have a lot of travelers to many of the countries in which Zika is much more common, and it was only a matter of time before some of them would be here in Florida giving birth in Florida. Explain
to people who may not know about microcephaly, tell us exactly what it is and how is it transmitted through the Zika virus to the mother?
So microcephaly is a condition in which the skull does not develop normally. It stays too small. That's what the micro comes from. And when the skull doesn't develop large enough, it impairs the growth of the brain. So it can exist on a wide range of levels. Sometimes it's a very mild case with minimal impact on the child to very profound cases where the skull stays very small and the brain never develops enough to develop appropriate abilities to function, to walk, to talk, to function independently in society. So it can be mild or severe.
So let's talk a little bit about people who may have travel plans to some of these Zika hot zones, because as of right now, many of the cases here in Florida, they are all travel related. So for men and women who are wanting to start a family and maybe are thinking about traveling to these zones, what are doctors telling people? Are they telling them just not to go, or are there ways to protect themselves?
Well, both. So we are telling people to avoid traveling. So if there are women who are pregnant or who are hoping or planning to become pregnant in the near future, we're simply advising them not to travel to many of these countries throughout Central and South America because of that risk. But the risk is there for men as well because it can be sexually transmitted.
Right.
So if a man travels to those areas, the recommendation is that they avoid, use condoms or other forms of protection, avoid sex for up to 6 months after they return from the area, because they may inadvertently spread it to the woman, this virus that then will attack the unborn baby.
Well, and finally, let's talk a little bit about, earlier you were saying you were surprised that it took this long for a baby to be born with microcephaly in Florida. How soon do you think it is before we're going to actually see a Zika case that is from Florida?
Quite frankly, we expect it any day.
Okay.
The mosquitoes that carry this virus are all over the southeast United States. And so it's simply a matter of time before one of those mosquitoes bites somebody who may have traveled here from one of the infected countries, and then the same mosquito bites and infects another person. So we really expect it any day.
So is there anything that we can do to protect ourselves from this? Is the normal, bug spray that we put on ourselves, will that help?
Absolutely would. So the biggest thing is to protect from mosquito bites in general. The same mosquitoes that can carry other bad diseases like West Nile virus that we've known about for years.
Right. People
need to follow those recommendations. Get rid of standing water in your own backyard. Use DEET or other mosquito repellents when you go out to enjoy the outdoors, and just avoid mosquito bites in general.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Daniel Van Durme. We so appreciate you coming on with us today.
It's been my pleasure.